Online teaching is different. It is. There's a lot of elements that are the same to traditional classroom teaching, but one big difference is the learner, that they are often adult learners. They're busy. They may have their own families. They may have, often they have jobs. They're pressed for time. I remember I taught a course a few years ago and we were doing introductions, and one woman said she was pregnant. And that was why she was taking the course online, because she couldn't, she was going to have the baby during the course. And then it turned out two other women in the course piped up and said that they were pregnant too. So, and it was cool. They sort of bonded in that, and there was sort of a chain of conversation going off to the side in one of the discussion forums where they were sort of comparing notes and people were giving them encouragement. But they're different learners. They don't have as much time. Often they're more focused on, getting to the work. It's really important that they have a clear understanding of what the expectations are, when things are due and how they get to those expectations.
Time, I'm a faculty member, so I get that it takes time. I mean, if we're doing our job, then we're spending our time communicating with our students. And that's where our time should be best spent, and doing research, meeting the requirements of our position. But to have a great quality course, you've got to spend the time in that development process and be able to also put yourself on a continuous improvement process so that you are doing a refresh and you're making sure that the course is still relevant and that all the links work and everything is still relevant to the student. And so one way to meet that challenge is to get help. Get an instructional designer. Most institutions now have some resources there for you. We are discipline experts. We are not, as faculty, we're not necessarily going to be instructional design experts, but we have experts in that field. So a good online course really is a partnership between instructional design and your content expert. And then a lot of times in that same loop of expertise is going to be videographers and graphic designers, whatever else is needed to make that particular course relevant to students and engaging.
You know what else we have a lot of? Military. People who are away from home, or they're in the middle of a deployment, and they can't physically get on campus, right? So they wind up taking the courses online. And by necessity, they have schedules where they have periods where they're incredibly busy and are unavailable, and periods where they have more time available. So, there needs to be a little bit of flexibility when you're teaching these courses to work with your students.